Welcome back to Shell Pearls of Wisdom. I've just been cutting it up with my sister while we were on break, and she is funnier than hell. We just got done talking about how she only beats people on Saturday now because she ain't about that life like she was before. But it's okay because we were just talking about how we've had our fair shares of whippings growing up. Um, both of our parents, I think, they come from that old school, and we beat ass. There's no nice way to put that. We do that. Um, I love it when people are trying to negotiate with their children when they're like,
I ain't
you know,
negotiating with no
we
kids.
don't negotiate with terrorists, and our children are little terrorists.
Although I gotta say, I gotta take that back. They used to be my life. I don't negotiate with kids, but that last one, I find myself negotiating with him a lot.
That's because he's too smart.
I just be like, you know what? Okay, whatever. You right. I was wrong. I was wrong.
She's like, forgive me for my mistakes.
Oh,
Forgive me. Now her youngest is only 2.5, so just to kind of give you an idea who she has to negotiate
like
with.
2 going on 52.
Yeah.
Like 2 going on 52.
And he a big guy, so he be giving you them faces, boy. He be like,
he know what he want, and he want it when he want it.
Yeah, he does. But he's so cute.
He moved my furniture. How about that?
He moves your furniture?
Yes. He moves my furniture. At 2. That's just somebody you just don't even have to go back and forth with. You said you want a cookie? Go ahead and get a cookie.
Go get a cookie.
It's 6 o'clock in the morning. You want this cookie? You can have it.
I need for you to give me. We need to come up with a warning so that I can have a warning that you can give me when you feel threatened by him. So I can be like, "Are you feeling threatened by little Spencer?" You're gonna be like, "You don't have to give me that look. Like everything is fine." And I'm gonna be like, "Okay."
I come in the living room one day. My whole love seat is in front of my front door. Can you put my couch back, please? I didn't ask you to move that. But, just I'm gonna walk out the room. When I come back, I need my couch back where it was.
I'm gonna need and then you don't even have to do it right then. You're like, I'm gonna go out the room, and when I come back, I want my couch back where it was. Thank you very much, sir.
Yep. And he's not gonna do it.
This is our negotiating now.
On the couch in front of the door.
There you go. He was just keeping guard.
That's when it looks great right there. It looks great.
Just let him do him.
I don't know why I didn't think about that.
He might be like one of the best interior designers when he gets older. You don't know. This might be in his future. Let him do him. Let him do him.
We'll let him come and move your furniture.
I don't mind that. I mean, I'm always looking for a little twist up. You know what I'm saying? So I want to know about little Danika. So were you bad?
Nope.
Liar! Lies!
Okay, I wasn't bad, but I had a real smart mouth. Like I was like a hothead, and had a real smart mouth, so they got me in a lot of trouble. So let me see. The most classic whipping that I talk about all the time.
I love classic whippings, yes.
So my little sister's dad, I couldn't stand him growing up. Oh my God. So he couldn't tell me nothing, like, don't tell me what to do, you're not my daddy kind of thing. Mm-hmm. And so one day my mom was at work one night, and I went off on him so bad. So he called my mom, because I'm just like, I don't care, I want to go stay with my daddy. You don't tell me what to do, blah, blah, blah. So my mom gets on the phone, she's like, I'm beating your ass when I get home. You can go stay with your daddy. I'm beating your ass when I get home. So
And
when
I
I
know
start
her
fucking
mother,
going
and
out,
she's the sweetest lady I've ever met. But I'm also not her daughter, so I wouldn't try
girl,
her.
first of all, wait a minute. You said she the sweetest lady you ever met? Girl, when you seen my mama be sweet?
She's always sweet to me.
Girl, okay. So then, so
She's
then
always
she,
trying to cook for me and like wants us to come over for dinner. She's always
you right. Hmm.
sweet.
So anyway, I'm being a
Sorry,
smarty.
I love you. Don't beat me. Don't beat me. I no.
I'm being a smarty pants, okay? I'm going to pack up all my stuff. I got my stuff packed up in Aldi
Oh
bags,
God.
sitting in front of my dresser. I didn't put on my coat and everything. I get into bed. So you know how you sleep, and somebody come turn on the light and you see that red in your eyelids. I
Mhm.
was trying to pretend like I was asleep. I heard her come in the room. She walked out. I'm trying to pretend like I'm still asleep. I hear her snatch something. Don't know what it is. She came back.
It's a
She didn't
weapon.
pull, the bottom of the blind where you pull the blinds, the old school blinds, and they meet at that hard piece. So she done took that off the blinds. She hit me once. I jumped up. And every time she hit me, one piece flew off. Tore my ass up. Okay? Tore my ass up. Then told me to unpack all my stuff because I wasn't going nowhere. So on top of that, on top of getting my ass beat, I had to sit down there the next day in this man's face.
Oh.
I couldn't go stay with my daddy.
Oh.
That's the worst whooping I ever got in my life.
Oh. Oh.
Told you. Aside from cursing too, I had a real bad mouth. So me and my cousins, we all at the house making stuff rhyme with sloppy Joe. It gets to me.
Oh no.
I'm gonna say sloppy hoe. Got knocked right out. I didn't know what, it
Give me
is
a
what it
little
is.
taste of this song. I'm gonna need to hear it. I'm gonna need to hear it. Come on.
Nope.
Come on.
Nope.
Give it to me.
Ah. So we just going around the circle. Everybody sloppy Joe, sloppy Mo, get to me and they looking. Nikki, what you got? Sloppy hoe. I don't know.
What in the hell possessed you to be?
Hey, I don't know.
And you said this in front of your mother, or was it just in front of your
No, she
siblings?
wasn't even in the room.
Okay.
But
So who
mom
hit you?
is here everything.
Oh.
She wasn't far from us, but she wasn't in the
They slide
same.
in that room. Like, what you say?
Hey, who in her cussing? Everybody look at me. Oh, y'all just gonna tell on me? That's fuck all y'all. That's
Word. That was just genius. That wasn't a curse word. I would have gotten mad at that.
yeah, well.
I would have let that slide. I would have been like, don't say it again. But I think I would have let you get away with it.
Yeah, it was really hard to get away with stuff with my mom.
She's a sweetheart. Hi, Joy.
Right.
I ain't getting in trouble. I know.
Girl, because she be snapping on me and my siblings over here. She be, oh, so I was just fucked up on y'all childhood, huh? Didn't nobody say that. Like, we was just saying that we got a whooping. Like, that's all we was saying.
That's
I was
exactly
just a
what parents
horrible
do.
mother, huh?
They're like, oh yeah, I'm just a horrible mother, huh? I'm like, that's not what I said. I said you beat my
That's
ass.
not what I said. That's not what I said. But okay,
I think I have a story to outbeat your whooping though.
I'm with it.
All right. So I was 16 years old, and it was my junior year of high school. And I did not run in a bad crowd of kids because I had the fear of God instilled in me from my parents. Like, I was scared. My parents, I was definitely afraid. And my group of friends, they wanted to go out for prom. And it was my junior prom, so it's a little bit different from your senior prom. You don't get all the perks that the seniors do. but you still can go to the dance and stuff like that. It's not the same. So I asked to go to prom, and my parents were like, fine. And out here, the tradition is you go to prom, and the next day you go to Great America, and that's like what everybody does after prom. So the plan was to go to prom and then go to dinner, and then I was going to go to my girlfriend's house, and I was going to sleep over. Well, my friends get this bright idea that instead of going to the dinner that is hosted by the school, we're going to go to Lakeshore and have dinner at the John Hancock in the middle of the city. Now, this would probably been okay if I would have asked to do this, but no, my dumbass decides to lie because I can't imagine my parents allowing me to go to the city for prom.
Lies never end well.
They never do. So I lie and I say we're going to like this Mexican joint up the street. So we're driving to the city. We have this stupid expensive meal. Everything's a la carte. All I can afford is my little steak because my parents didn't give me enough money to go eat at the Giant Hancock. So I have this dry ass piece of meat and like water. So that's my prom meal because I don't have enough money. And we're all having fun. And now it's time to call it a night. I'm looking at my watch like, okay, guys, we gotta go. We gotta go. Like my parents, I'm supposed to be home by. I think my curfew that night was 11:30, maybe 12, and it is like now like 10:45, and I'm like, we gotta go because the city's about 45 minutes away, so we gotta hit this road. We gotta hit this road. So my friends are like, oh, don't worry about it. It's prom night. We can stay out all night. I'm like, who said that? I never said that. I never agreed upon this. Take me home. I need to go home. So my girlfriend looks at me like, I know your parents. We got to take Shell home because she's got to check in and get her bag before she can come to my house because her parents are going to want to see that she's home first. So everybody's like, okay. This girl named Rosa was driving. Never met Rosa really before. She was new to me. No, Rosa must have been illiterate because she got lost on the way home and ended up going to Indiana. So, yeah. So I'm sitting in the back seat of the car and I'm looking around like, this don't, where are we? And I see a sign, welcome to Indiana. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, we can't be in Indiana. I gotta be home. So, long story short, we end up getting turned around, heading home. Now it's like 12:30. Not that bad, you would think. Not that bad. Walk through the door. My mom and my dad smoke cigarettes. My mama's in the bed smoking a square. My dad is standing up next to his dresser. I walk through the bedroom door. I see both my parents. And I said, hi. Now, in the meantime, my dad had called my cell phone. I had the old school Motorola big ass brick flip phone. He had called me and said, hey, how you guys doing? And I said, we're fine. And I said, everybody say hi to my dad. Everybody's like, hi, Mr. Larry, hi. And then he goes, when are you guys heading home? And I was like, we're wrapping up dinner now. We should be heading home soon. Little did I know, my father was sitting outside the restaurant that I told him that we were going to have dinner at. And they had already closed the lights, had the chairs on top of the table, and everything. I didn't know this. I thought I was getting slick. So he's talking to me like, okay, well, you guys be safe, have fun. I'll see you in a little bit. He knew this whole time I wasn't where I was supposed to be. I'm thinking I'm like the shit, like, whew, I got away with that. No. So back to me walking into my parents' room. So my mom's sitting on the bed smoking a cigarette. Where the fuck you been? What you mean? I was at the restaurant, and you know how it is, Mom. You start talking, and the time got away, and and she's like, "You think I'm fucking stupid?" What? No. What is what? No. She said, "Come over here. Let me smell your breath." because they wanted to make sure I hadn't been drinking. Now I don't drink, so I was like, I got you on this one. So I was all like, like blowing my breath in her face, because I was like, ha, you ain't gonna get me. I've been drinking. Turned around, and my dad punched me square dead in my face, and I flew out of their bedroom and hit the wall in the hallway and slid down. You know how in the cartoons you hear like the little Tweety birds going around your head? Exactly what I felt. I saw all of them, like all of them, and I was like,
knock the fuck out.
I got knocked the fuck, and I didn't even get hit by my mama. My daddy punched me square dead in my face. To this day, I've never been hit by a man. And I am happy because that shit hurts. I'm in the hallway crying because I got hit in the face by a man with a closed fist, not a slap, a douche, like punched me in my face. So now I'm swelling up, a little puffy lip. I'm crying. And now I gotta tell my friends who are all in my driveway, honking the fucking horn at 1 o'clock in the morning, talking about, hey, hurry out, what you doing in there? And I'm like, shut the fuck up. What's in the face? So I gotta walk downstairs, because my parents are like, go ahead and tell your little friends they can take their asses home. And I was like, okay. So I walked downstairs, and I opened the door about this much. And I was like, I can't go. Like,
I'm stuck in the house.
just go. And they're like, what do you mean go? You're not coming? You're not coming? I'm like, no, I'm tired. I'm like, I'm gonna sleep here tonight. I'll call you guys. And that is probably, I didn't get my ass whipped, but I got my ass beat. And that was a lesson that I will take to everywhere. Lying is not worth it, because parents are so much smarter than you. When you think you're getting away with something, it's only because they let you think you got away with something.
I tell my kids all the time, if I ask you a question,
I already know the
99% of the time I know the answer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna see if you're gonna tell me the truth.
I just want to know if you're gonna lie. I tell my kids the same thing. I just want to know if you're gonna lie to me. That's the only thing.
If I ask you a question, I already know the answer.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just waiting to see if you're gonna tell me the truth.
If you're gonna tell me the truth. Oh, amen. Oh gosh. And I don't know about your kids. My kids think they so much smarter than me. Oh, I got a funny story. First, I'm gonna ask you a story. What is the dumbest lie you caught your kids in? Where you were like, you were actually stupid. I have one. I got a great one.
I don't know. I can't pinpoint the dumbest. So you go.
Okay, so my oldest, which you know who he is, I love him to death, but he thinks he's so smart. And I think he's brilliant, but he is not smarter than me. And he was grounded, and all he could do was go to his junior police explorer program. That's it. He can go to school, come home, and go to this police explorer thing. Well, it was his senior year of high school, and you know, everything's popping up, parties, get-togethers, whatever. And now he felt like, I'm gonna go with my friends. My senior year, I'm not gonna miss getting with my friends. So this little motherfucker decides to tell me that they're going to the police explorer. I roll home after work, and I was getting ready to go to the gym. And I had my niece with me, and we were going to go to the gym together. So I see his car in the parking lot, and I asked his father, I was like, where is he? And he goes, oh, he's at the junior police explorer. Because I'm like, because you know he's grounded. He ain't supposed to be going nowhere. He's like, yeah, but he's at the junior police explorer. I'm like, but how did he get there? His car's in the parking lot. And he was like, Well, that's weird. I don't know. So I hit him up on his phone. I'm like, hey, where you at? Oh, I'm at my junior police explorer. I'm like, how you get there? It's like, oh, well, Alex picked me up, and they know I don't like to drive, so he just picked me up. I was like, okay,
Mm.
send me a picture. He's like, what? What? I'm like, send me a picture. I'm like, in fact, take a video. I want you to pay on the whole class. He goes like this. He's like, oh, okay, mom, I'll call you right back, and I'll put you on the video. I was like, okay. He calls back. There's no video, only sound. And I'm like, where's my video? He's like, I can't figure it out. No, this is the most techie kid I know. Okay, he could put a computer together, but he can't figure out how to put the video on his phone. I'm like, Stefan, figure it out. Just push the goddamn video icon. Push the video icon. It's at the bottom of your phone. Push the icon. But mom, I'm pushing it. I hear this. I'm pushing it. Ain't nothing happening. I don't know. It's just not working. I was like, okay. Go take a picture of the outside of the police department since you at the police department. He's like, oh, okay, mom, I could do that. I was like, okay. I get a picture. It is the most pristine picture of the police department. I was like, this Negro is crazy. He's actually I believe this. And put it into Google. It literally comes up in Google as the picture that they use for the police department. So I'm like, okay, so I know he's lying now. So now I'm just going to keep asking questions to see how far you're going to keep lying. I was like, well, Stefan, I want you to take a picture of everybody in your class. He's like, what? I'm like, yeah, just say like my mom wants a picture of all of us for her like keepsake. So just have them all take a picture. He finds an old picture of like all of them together standing outside of the police department. Little does he remember, he broke his glasses about 2 weeks prior, and he's been wearing his sport goggles because his glasses are broke. In this picture, he has the glasses that are now broke on. So I text him back, where the fuck are you, you dumbass? Maybe before you send me fake pictures, you should remember that you don't have these glasses no more, idiot. And this picture is old. He was like, I'm like, no. Where are you? Where are you? And then that's when he's like, okay, mom, I'm going to tell you the truth. I love that. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm like, oh, it's too late for that partner. Now it's too late. So, long story short, I found where he was. And I did not go off on him. You would be proud of me. I maintained myself, picked him up from his friend, told him to get in the car nicely, told his little friend, hope you guys have a rest of your nice evening, be safe, get home safe, bye. And I chewed his ass out from the time we left this goddamn house to the time we got home. And then he didn't see no more police explorer. He didn't go to no more parties. And then his life was basically over for his senior year because he wanted to lie. So, yep, that's an example of how my kids think they're smarter than me.
Well, I don't know why you say I would be proud of you because I'm that mom when I roll up on you where you ain't got no business. Yeah, we had a problem.
I mean,
so
I had our niece in the car and she was calming me down because she was like, he was texting her on the other end saying, I think I messed up. And then she was pretending like she wasn't with me. So she was like, why? What'd you do? He's like, I lied. I lied to mom. She on her way to come get me. And she was like, boy, you better like you better apologize. You better be good or whatever. He's like, no, can I come stay with you? I think I'm going to need a place to live. Like, he thought I was going to kick him out. He thought I was going to beat him. And so the whole time I'm thinking to myself, like, okay, Michelle, you do not want to be this parent because you don't want to be the parent that your parent was to you. Where I was just deathly afraid of my parents. And I don't want my kids to be afraid of me. I want them to respect me, but I don't really want them to fear me. So.
Right. There's a difference. There is definitely a difference. I don't know. With my second child, at least yours answered the phone. See, mine got to the point where he don't even answer his phone.
Ooh.
And so then I resort to, now I'm looking for you. I'm out here driving, looking for you.
Yeah, you never want to be looking. Nope.
Yeah. So like it'll go for a moment where it's ringing, 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 go to voicemail to the point where it's ring straight to voicemail. And as soon as you get in the car, it's run me your phone. Run me your phone right now. To a point where when I find you, I pull up, I don't say nothing. I ain't saying nothing to nobody. I'm pulling up, my music blasting, and I'm just sitting there.
Ooh.
Now you know it's time to get in the car, right?
Yep.
Oh, come get in the car. That's when you know you done fucked up, right?
Right.
You know you done fucked up, right?
Right.
Without saying it.
Yep.
Whereas, so I've never quite embarrassed my child in front of their friends, like to where
That's what
my
I
mama
try
would beat
not to
the
do.
dog
Yes.
sleeps off of me in front of my friends.
Uh-huh.
You would have got the dog sleeves beat off of me. No, I ain't never done that to my babies. But I ain't opposed to it.
Right.
I don't think it's ever been like that deep.
I don't think I've ever been that mad yet. I would probably do it, but I've never been.
So, but yeah, so I mean, they definitely think that, especially, and I think it's worse because we are younger parents, that they think that we we can, they don't know this, they ain't hip to this, blah blah blah.
They
And
should
it's like
actually have the
that's just the
opposite.
opposite. Yeah,
Right.
that's just the opposite. I'm not that much older than you. I'm old enough to be your mama, but I'm not that much older than you. So
Like we are just a few years out of the same generation. Like it's not
right.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, I don't know.
It's crazy. Kids think that we're retarded as parents. They think that they are so much smarter, and they think that whatever we say, we're overreacting. We're always overreacting. We're always just, oh, you don't understand. And I'm like, what do you mean we don't understand? We've been where you are.
Right.
We
I was your
understand.
age.
Right.
I was your age. So, okay, prime example with this whole pandemic. So yesterday I come home and my daughter meets me at the door and she's like, Mom, can I go? And before she can get it out of her mouth, I'm like, no, nowhere. No, ma'am. If you're not hanging out with nobody. Like, we on quarantine. So she immediately gets upset. And so we're talking to her and we're like, who do you like? What do you think this is? This is not vacation. Like, we're not doing this. She's like, well, people, she's telling my sister, and she's like, do you know people that's out hanging out in this mess? And she's like, yeah, people with their friends. Well, them ain't your friends.
Right.
Those are not your friends, and you're not hanging with them.
Right.
Because you're not taking this seriously. And what you're not gonna do is go hanging out. Say the friends that you're hanging out with is these friends right here.
Yeah.
So I got the boys over, during this, but I know they haven't been anywhere. They've been in the house too. So I do have the boys here. That's who you're hanging out with. Those are the friends that you're gonna hang out with during this quarantine.
Yeah.
We're not hanging around anybody else. I don't care, who you don't know who they've been hanging out with. You don't know what's going on. So we're not doing this. And you're not going to risk nobody else's health in this house.
Yeah.
Because
you need to get out the house. Right.
Yeah. You need to get out, go out in the backyard. You have piles of leaves back there, go rake them up. Get some air. I'm just saying.
I mean,
I told them during this time, let's take this time to get this yard together, get the stuff together that needs to be done, because when this quarantine is over and you're ready to get out, you're going to wish you had help, because we're still getting this yard together.
Right. Oh my gosh. We've had similar conversations here. The kids don't get it. I mean, they get it, but they don't get it. It's like they don't get
and I get it. This is something different for them. This is something that they're not used to.
This is something different for us. We never even had something like this before.
Right. When they have, in this whole time that they've been born, they have not had to deal with something of this nature, to where they have absolutely been on lockdown. And I get it. I really do. I get it. But You know, I'm not willing to risk, you know, and I tell them that as your parent, I can give you the world because I want to.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do that.
Nope.
I'm not going to do that. That doesn't teach you anything.
Nope.
That doesn't give you any grounding, and I'm not going to do it.
Nope. Well, that kind of goes into like my next part of everything that I want to ask you about and kind of wrap this segment up. We talked a little bit before about your faith and like how handle your household where if you have struggles, if you have like you said, you've had several family members that have passed away in the last few years. And when you have like these struggles and you have like this sadness in your heart, how do you like keep your faith up? How do you keep strong even when you want to maybe sit down and cry or when you need to just vent? How do you handle it?
I mean, a lot of times I do cry. You know, a lot of times that's my only release. I sit by myself and I cry. You know, if I have to go and sit in my car, if I have to take a ride, you know, I try to deal with it to where I'm not getting upset at the people around me,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm so overwhelmed. But I'm human, and it has happened. Um, but a lot of times I have to go into solitude. I have to sit in the dark. I have to lay in the dark. I have to go sit in my car. I have to cry. I I am very big like on music. Music is my expression. I used to write a lot. I used to write poetry and I stopped writing my book, but I still have it. But that used to be my release, writing. Um, Now music is my release. Um, I go to music, karaoke, anything of that nature. Like I can just sit and listen to music
Mm-hmm.
and till my spirit feels right. You
Now, when
know,
you listen to music, is it a certain genre? Do you just listen to church music? Do you listen to R&B? Is it just however your mood sets that you
yeah,
kind of, yeah.
it's really what if whatever I'm dealing with at that time. But a lot of times if I'm dealing with an internal struggle, um I go to my gospel, and not really, I won't even say gospel music. It's more Christian because I listen to Christian rap. I listen to, you know, if I'm in um a moment of rage, I don't go to like rap all the time. I'll find my Christian rap. You know,
Okay.
one of my go-to is Uncle Reese, Until I Pass Out. You know, it's called Until I Pass Out. And it's just, it takes you there, and you're in that moment, and you just, and you're, I don't know, even though I may be raging inside, I start to feel calm and I start to feel the spirit. Um, Whereas I can think back to the week that Monica went into the hospital. Um, I couldn't shake this feeling. And every day I got into my car, and a lot of times on my way to work, I listened to my music, because it sets the mood for me before I get to work. And so every time I would go to my YouTube and I would put Safe into his, it's called Safe in His Arms. And that song would always pop in my head that whole week. And I couldn't figure out why. I just needed to hear that song that whole
Right.
week. Um, but it was just something that was in my spirit. It was something on my heart at that time. And so a lot of times I'll go to my phone and pull up YouTube, and I'll just, whatever the first thing pops up is what I put on, you know, um, in that moment. And for me, it just, that's how I deal. A lot of times I deal through my music. Music is my testimony. Like when I can't formulate, I say a lot that I have difficulty with words and
Mm-hmm.
difficulty with expressing myself through words. Um, but there's not one song, I haven't been able to find out one song that doesn't express how I feel in some way.
Right.
So I use music a lot, for me.
So like a hard question that I think of when I think of like death and I think of like loss and things of that nature. I I feel like I handle it pretty well, especially with the type of work I do. I've seen people pass away in front of me. I've taken care of people in hospice before that are just, already on that journey where I know that it's going to be quite soon. So I do understand that reaching out to music. I think it touches my soul to like hear like a certain song, or I don't know if you've ever had a moment where you're just in that mind frame and then like the right song comes on the radio or the right song comes up next and you're just like how do you know? Like it's almost like not to be because I'm not as religious as you, but it's almost like God knew. Like he knew this is what I needed. This is what I needed to hear at this moment. And even though I'm not like this holier than thou person, that's how I always do still have a faith because little things like that happen. And you can't deny that being kind of a small little miracle because it's like it just something just happens. Like a little electricity kind of like goes off. So
So let me stop you there when you
mm,
say that you're not as religious as me, or um, or something to that nature. You don't have to be, and that is so. Those little things that you feel, it's not about being more religious than the next person, or I'm because as I've said a lot, I find it hard to formulate words a lot of times for situations, but then I also find myself in positions where I'm constantly talking to people about faith. And
mm,
I think to myself, like, little old me, like, I don't really even, I'm not that solid in my walk. But
mm,
then you don't have to be because nobody is perfect and God himself wasn't perfect.
yeah,
So a lot of times he's using you in your situation as you are, to speak to people. So it's not about being more religious than the next person. It's not about you know it's that mustard seed. You hear about that mustard seed all the time. All it takes is that mustard seed of faith. And as long as you have that, so you're not a non-believer. There's a difference in somebody who just, you can't help, you're human, so you can't help but wonder why things happen or feel discouraged when things happen. But you have the faith. You're not somebody who's just a straight up non-believer, like, oh, God didn't have nothing to do with that. I've
right,
crossed paths with those people, and you have to, you know you plant that seed within them. You give them the best word that you can, and you leave it. It's not for you to push on them, but you just give them enough to plant that belief in them. And it's up to them to accept that God is going to keep tugging on them until they get it.
right,
But it's not about being more religious than the next person, because we all sin, we all have downfalls. I'm not perfect by a long shot, but what I have been working on is being open. It's being a
right,
little bit more open to letting God use me in whatever way that is. I don't know. Um, and I'm still struggling, but all I can do is pray about it. Like,
right,
there's really nothing that you can do but continue to pray on it. And it is, he speaks to you in those little moments, you know, when you have nothing else to, no other way to express yourself. You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
I don't know. I can't even explain it, you know.
It's
I
very
really,
hard to put in words. Like
it
it's like
is.
you said, it's very hard. Like when people ask me, all I can say is I just know it.
Right. And so just because you also said in our earlier conversation that you aren't a church goer all the time, that doesn't mean anything. That doesn't, because right now, we have transitioned to another church. But my previous pastor, and he's always going to be a pastor to me. He used to always say, it's going to be good people. It's going to be holy people, these holier than thou Christians, all of that's gonna bust the gates of hell wide open. Because you going to church every Sunday is not going to get you into heaven. You going and speaking the word downtown with the homeless, that's not going to get you into heaven. What's going to get you is your pure heart. You have to be able to open your heart and believe without a shadow of a doubt that God is who he is. So I wouldn't worry about whether or not you go to church every Sunday. I wouldn't worry about, how much gospel music you listening to. That doesn't mean anything. That doesn't mean anything, because I'm not always in my Bible. I'm not always, listening to gospel music. I joked with my coworker the other day, and I was telling her, I'm like, we were talking about music, because everybody knows that I'm like a music fanatic. That is really how I express myself. And a lot of people can tell if I'm dealing with something because I plug in. Like if they see me at work and I'm plugged in, they know I'm either dealing with something personal, or I'm just like, it's one of those days where I'm head down into my work. And it can be, my day can go from never would have made it to Nook if you buck. I tell them all the time, that's just me. Mm-hmm. And I don't have to apologize for that, because my relationship and my walk with God is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying?
Personal relationship.
It's my personal relationship. So it's, I don't know. I go from 0 to 100 just like that. They have to go back like, Lord, forgive me. But we're gonna sin. You gonna sin today, tomorrow, the next day. You just have to ask God to forgive you for that. But at the end of the day, what you do in your relationship with God is solely that. And we do have to be mindful in a sense, because there are people that are staggering on that fence of they don't believe, or because of how someone else's walk looks. Yeah. So I do try to be mindful of that. Mm-hmm. And not try to be out here like, oh, I'm just this holy person, and then turn around and they see me, doing drugs or whatever, anything like that. So I'm trying to be mindful of that, because there are people that look to other people to determine their walk.
Yeah.
So
not to really put you on the spot, but I told you when we were off camera, the way that you explain yourself and the way that like you relate religion and faith is more digestible. I can take it in easier. My parents are very religious. The way they do it is more browbeating. And it's hard for me to take in what they want to tell me, because it's like you know what I'm saying? It's right. Too, well, you just gotta believe in God. You gotta know He's got you. You gotta know He's got. And it's like I get it, but at the same time, if you're going through a struggle, the last thing you kind of want to hear is, "You just gotta put your faith in God." And it's like, oh, well, okay, I can try to do that, but at the same time, if I'm going through a struggle, obviously I'm probably on the lower end of my life right now, or I'm a little bit more sadder than normal. So it's kind of hard to like dig yourself out of like being depressed or sad to be like, this person that you've never known, met, seen is just gonna have your back. It's kind of hard to digest that.
Right. And that's where the whole walk by faith and not by sight comes into play, where and when I told you that you have to start thinking back and looking back on situations where you've seen that you've come out of it and you can't figure out how you come out of it. Mm-hmm. Those are those moments that are confirmation for you, where you might not have thought in that moment. You might have thought it was all you in that moment. But then you thought back like, dang, I balanced my checkbook and I realized what I bring in, my bills exceed what I bring in. So how am I making it?
Right.
Those are those moments of confirmation where He's carrying you.
Yeah.
And you may not see it, and even at your lowest point, like I said, I've been there. I've been in my lowest point. Yesterday, I was in Thursday, when we got the news about our pay being cut and things like that. It was just like, I'm upset, I'm hurt, I'm crying, because I'm like, what am I supposed to do? Like, I'm barely making on what I make, and then you're gonna take some of that, but then you start thinking about other people, and it's like some people don't even have two pennies to rub together.
Yeah.
You could be trying to figure out where you and your kids gonna sleep tonight or tomorrow night, but you're not dealing with that.
Yeah.
So, those are those moments that he's covering me.
Yeah. That is true.
When you think about even with relationships, and I'll take it here, because even though I'm still trying to deal with that, things that you don't make, you can't make right, or you feel like you have not made right with people. I go back to, and I'll continue to go back to Monica. We struggled a lot, and in her final days, I was there.
Yep.
I was able to be there. When she was still able to talk, the last interaction that we had in a conversation was, "You not gonna leave me?" That was her to me. I was like, "No, I ain't going nowhere."
Yeah.
I'm like, "We good, we okay."
Yeah.
I could not have been there. See, it was set up to where Charnel called me to come with her to the hospital. So I was able to talk to her when she was still able to talk.
Right.
Because God knew I needed that moment. And in the moment when everything happened and she passed, I couldn't deal with the fact that I was not big enough to say, "I'm sorry."
But she knew you were sorry. Because you wouldn't have
But,
been there.
for my part in it, I was not big enough in that moment to say, "I'm sorry" for my part in everything that we've gone through. But at the same time, when she said, "You're not going to leave me?" And I said, "No, I ain't going nowhere."
Right there was her confirmation. Right there. We talked about this. We talked about this a lot.
For me, I have to step back and I have to thank God for those moments.
Mm-hmm.
But you, as a human being, still can't help but to feel regret for things. You know what I'm saying? So it's just that little bit of faith that you have to hold on to, and you just have to continue to ask God to guide you, guide your footsteps, and let him take control. And a lot of times you'll keep being tested with the same situations. They may look different, but the message behind it is the same.
So my question to you would be this, because I'm going to say what a lot of people think, but they don't always put it out there. But my biggest thing, and a lot of people that are kind of like myself, how can you always keep a good faith when you do feel like you keep going through a struggle? Like, for me, it would be, my personal issue would be like my health. Like, always feeling sick, always being in and out of the hospital, always having to deal with the next thing, just waiting for the other shoe to drop. Okay, well, now I'm dealing with this. I get over that. Well, now I got to deal with this. And it's like, when you're getting always tested, sometimes you feel like, how is this not the devil's play?
So let me tell you this, because everything is not a test either. Everything really isn't always a test, but more of a testimony. And so sometimes the things that you go through isn't for you. I had to learn that the hard way. A lot of things that you go through isn't for you. It's for somebody else. But you have been the sacrifice. You have been the vessel for that lesson, if
Oh,
that
wow.
makes sense. So what somebody might need to see, like right now, you're doing this pearls of wisdom, and you cover so many topics, you talk to so many people, and you can relate to so many things. But if you didn't go through those things that you have gone through, you wouldn't be able to relate on those levels. So yeah, it's a burden. It feels like a burden because you've endured the pain on it.
Mm-hmm.
But then guess what? I'm gonna take it here. Goes back to all the burden and all the pain that God endured for us. Everything that he had to take for us. So sometimes what we go through is not for us, it's for the people around us. So you might have been dealing with, and I'm just out here throwing it out here. I'm not saying this is what you're going through, but you might have been dealing with an issue in your relationship, and it might have took for, maybe you were being taken for granted. But then you started going through these things and it looked like you might not make it. For that person to realize just how much they need you, just how much you actually mean to that person. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
No, it makes sense.
it's not always for you. It's not always about you. Yes, you are the person going through the pain. You are the person enduring the struggle. But that lesson in the midst ain't about you. Sometimes it is. Sometimes we need to get smacked a couple times to realize that, hey, I'm trying to tell you something. Hey, I'm trying to help you here.
Right.
You be okay, God, I'm listening.
Right. Like finally you're just kind of like, all right, I give up. I'm not gonna fight you on this anymore. What are you trying to tell me?
Because
What are you
when
trying to
he
do?
wants something from you, he will keep putting you in that situation. He will keep pushing you and pushing you and pushing you until you get it. Because he's gonna get his way regardless.
Right.
So these are things that I'm learning. These are things that I've had to learn the hard way. And I'll tell you, it's not something that I easily came by. It's the circle that I run with. When I say my best friend, she stay prayed up, she stay run, she keeps me grounded. I look at her and I'm like, I can't even imagine, how you still going, like things that you deal with. I look at my sister. When I say my squad, it's 4 of us that I know that if I need to go to, I use each one of them for different reasons. Like, and I say use lightly, but I'm saying like each one of them have a particular reason that they are a part of my life. And so
everybody has purpose. You have a purpose for all of them.
and so my sister, that's all. She's always been under my wing since she was born. That's my baby before I had a baby, and I had a baby young. So but my best friend, and then I have my sister, my sister friend Octavia, and so I deal with each one of them. I wouldn't be able to be as grounded as I am if I didn't have them that I could reach out to and that I can talk to and that can help me through these things. I've had my amazing pastor, Pastor Triggs. I can remember when we used to work together, there have been many times that I've messaged him at work like, hey, I need to see you for a hot second, and we'd find a conference room and it'd be, I need you to pray for me. I need you to pray with me. I need, like, talk me off the ledge because I'm here, and so you just have to find that person that does that. And if I'm that person for you, or if I'm not that person for you, find who does that for you and talk to them. It don't have to always be a conversation about God. You can read something, like right now, we're getting ready to read this book. Everybody in my house has this book called God is Able. I haven't even torn the cover to see what it's about, but just the topic in itself, God is able. I feel like that in itself explains it, because here we just bought this house last year. We weren't in a position to buy no house. So then when everything started happening, you know, I kept telling myself, well, he didn't give me this house to take it from me just that quick.
Right.
You know, and
Right.
so I just had to believe that. And for a second, it was like, do you really believe that? Do you really believe that? Because you did jump head first in it. You know what I'm saying? But I did believe it. I did believe it. And we made it through the worst towards the end of the year. And it's been great. And I know that it wasn't nobody but God.
Well, I did not anticipate it getting this deep. I'm not gonna lie. Okay. Because
I know, because we didn't even show off my twerking skills.
I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I was like so ready to be like this bad girl Danika. She was such a bad child. I'm like, now I feel like I want to be like baptized in your holiness. I can't. I mean,
I told you I don't fight no more. Just on Saturday.
All I can say is this: like, it has been a pleasure.
Sometimes.
You only fight sometimes.
Yeah, you know.
But
today I'm resting.
I'm gonna give my pearls of wisdom on like this subject right here, and then I'm gonna leave the floor for Danika to close out this segment with her pearls of wisdom. And I literally am coming up with this pearls of wisdom right now. Usually, I always have like the idea of what I'm gonna say before I get to this point because it's like I want to sound organized. But honestly, while I was talking to you right now, to Danika, I had like an epiphany almost, I guess. And you opened my eyes to something when you said like sometimes the struggle that you go through is not your own lesson, it's for somebody else. That really hit home. Really, 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 really hit home. And for those that don't know me, I've gone through a lot of health issues, unfortunately. But as I sit here today, I'm probably the healthiest I've ever been in my life, which is pretty impressive when I was told at one point in my life I wouldn't even see 30 years of age. So that's just right there is just a testimony that I know he's real. I know I believe in God because, you know. And the way that Danika just kind of like laid that out, where not everything you go through is your struggle, it might be for someone else. It kind of like had that moment where I'm like, that makes sense. Because I tell people all the time that are in need of something, whether it's financial, emotional, or physical support, to don't ask for help. Don't sit there and feel like you gotta struggle by yourself or you gotta like keep all this in and just deal with it by yourself. Because I say you're robbing somebody else of the opportunity to feel good about themselves, to be in a position to help you, to be in a position to lend their helping hand, or maybe their last dollar, or maybe their last whatever, because that's what they might need at that moment, to feel relevant, to feel special, to feel needed, to feel loved. That is something that I can actually understand. So whether now I was used for a lesson for myself or if I was used for a lesson for somebody else, whatever the reason is now, I can actually appreciate it a lot more after what you said. I don't want to say hate because that's a real strong word. I didn't appreciate my struggles enough. And now that I look at it in a different perspective, I can appreciate it. Before I just hated it. I just always said, why me? I always said, how much more can I take? How much more do you want to give me before you break me? Is this what you want? You want to see me fail? You want to see me break? Okay, fine. There you go. I'll break for you. Now, can you leave me alone? Like, that's how I felt.
And the more you fight against it, the more that it will come. Because you are speaking defeat when you start saying, how much more can I take? Lord, how much more? Why you keep doing this? And you're speaking that defeat over you when you turn that around and be like, you know what? I got this, you know. there's nothing that I can't do. There's nothing that I can't take. When you start with that mindset, then it's even if you're still going through it, it doesn't seem as much of a burden. It doesn't feel as bad. Because you've already made up your mindset that you're coming out on the other side. You already have already spoke that you've spoken that over you already. So it's crazy. But it's
amazing.
unexplainable. You really can't formulate into words all the time. But it's a beautiful thing. And so I'm amazed that I've sat here and even talked to you this long about this on video, because this is not my forte. That's not what I do. And
well, I told you it's gonna be, once you feel something, it just kind of comes out. A lot of people are like, oh, how am I gonna talk for 30 minutes to an hour? Like, I'm not gonna have enough. But if you're passionate about something, it comes out, and it comes out easily. And you've been graceful, and you've been passionate, and you've been poised about it. And like I said, a pearls of wisdom you just gave me was able to allow me to give it to somebody else. And that is just how it works. You pass down something to me, and I want to pass down something to someone else. So basically, let your struggles be your own. Let your struggles be something that you can one day look back on and be proud of and understand it. Because looking at it like it's just such a negative thing, it's always going to be a negative thing.
And it's always going to feel this worse.
Yes. But as soon as you start feeling like, I'm happy about my struggles, because I wouldn't be where I am right now if it wasn't for that struggle then. And it sucked then. I'm not going to put it down and be like, oh, wasn't that? No, it sucked. But it also made me stronger, and it also made me who I am now. And this is why I'm sitting here doing this right here, because I went through so many things. And I felt like I didn't have anyone to have an outlet to talk to. I didn't have anything to look up and say, like, has anybody gone through this? So this is why I do this now. And this has made it full circle for me at this very moment of why I love doing this. It's for that reason. So I'll leave it up to you. What's your pearl?
I don't know. I don't have one.
Yeah, you do. Girl, don't you do that.
I mean, I would just say, when you reach deep down into, you find that one thing that you can hold on to, and you reach deep down and you hold on to that. Don't let nobody take that from you, and just continue to pray about it. I can't say enough. We are in a time right now where everything is uncertain. So the one thing that's not uncertain is that we are all loved, that and we're all loved by somebody. God, a family member, even if you don't feel like it, it's somebody out here that loves you. And there are people out here that are at their lowest point, and it's time to let all of that go. And you just have to be able to reach out and tell somebody you love them, somebody you ain't talked to in a long time. Just reach out and tell them you love them. You don't know, that little bit can just go a long way for somebody.
Yeah.
Because you don't know what somebody going through. And I've learned that you don't take people's absence as something about you or negative. It used to be you acting funny, I ain't heard from you in a such and such time, and it don't have nothing to do with you.
Right.
You don't know what somebody going through or what somebody dealing with.
Exactly. I tell people all the time, when you see someone on the street, give them a smile, say hello.
Yeah, I say all the time. I speak to everybody at work. I say good morning to everybody. How you doing? I walk past, I speak, because you don't know what that does for somebody.
Yep. Our niece thinks I'm crazy. She thinks I'm nuts, because when I'm out and about, I always compliment someone. I always say, like, oh, from their hair to their toes to their shoes to whatever. And then she's like, you always give people, strangers, compliments. I'm like, why do you do that? I'm like, because it might be that one compliment or that one hello or that one smile that you give someone, that person could have been going home that night and contemplating suicide, or they might have been, not knowing what they're going to do. And the fact that you gave them the time to say, hi, you're a beautiful young lady, or sir, I just love the way that you put your outfit together. That might give them that reason to go on just another day.
Mm-hmm.
And she looked at me like, wow, I never thought about it like that. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
you
It
don't.
don't take nothing to say. You walk past somebody and say, how you doing? You
Right.
know, you look
No
a
skin off
person
your
dead in
back.
their face and don't say nothing. That's, it takes but a hot second to say how you doing, and you
Yep.
never know what that does for somebody.
Yep.
So that's just something that I've made it my business, especially at work. If I walk past somebody, if it's, in the morning, I say good morning.
Mm,
If it's, in the afternoon, I say, hey, how you doing, as I'm walking by, because again, what is it hurting me to speak?
not at all. Not even a little bit. It does not hurt. So, but yeah, that's a great place to end it. So, you guys, if you see someone out and about, once we are out of this quarantine, go out the first time and try to do this. Try to put your best foot forward and share a smile, share a hello, share anything with a stranger or someone that you may even know. Because
Yeah.
after being locked up for several weeks now, people are struggling, people are lonely, some people don't have the ability to even do what we're doing right here, where I can Skype to someone multiple or a state away. So just remember that when we get out of this situation where we're able to go back into the world again, go in with like an open mind and open heart. And maybe you'll touch someone one day, or maybe they'll touch you and change your life forever. And that's all I have to say on that. So, once again, before you guys get out of here, please hit like and subscribe. And if you guys want to be interviewed, if you guys have a pearl of wisdom to share, I am always open. And now that I know how to do this is awesome. I can do it with whoever, whenever, all over the world. So that's amazing. So I love you guys all. Thank you for joining in. And thank you, Danika, for coming on. I really appreciate it.
All right, girl.
All right. Don't hang up with me. I'm just going to pause the video, but don't you hang up. All right. Love you guys.
Bye.
Bye.